Life is not finite. It's not black and white. Things are going to change. You're going to go through loss, tragedy, love. All these things are going to happen, bro. And you're going to need different things. You have to be able to pull it from self. I can't call Skylar and like if I want to feel good about something, I can't just call you all the time. You know what I mean?
Listeners, viewers, give a subscribe on the YouTube channel and a follow on Instagram. All right, we got my man Keith Buxton all the way out from Virginia Beach, Virginia, originally from Brooklyn, New York.
That's right.
And 14 years of friendship from summer experience at High Point University. Damn, man, half our life, like we were saying.
Summer 2K 2008. Oh, man, decade and a half. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so love that we're branching out, not just drinking booze and eating food, and we're trying to inspire some people, maybe just ourselves and maybe some inner circle. And we had some topics that we came up with. We're both motivational speakers. And Keith, how long you been coaching youth basketball? And, you know, just give a little bit of your basketball background.
Sure. When I think about like the longevity or how long I've been doing it, I know it started ironically back at High Point, the high interest level. So if we clocked it from there to now, it's been at least 12 years. Yeah, 12, at least 11 years for sure. All levels, starting collegiate, prep school, private college, and then that's when we got to afterwards youth athletics. So like more so high school and club ball. And you know, there's a varying level of motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic. There's a varying level of opportunities that come and go with each job. The biggest thing I think that remains the same is the passion for educating the game. And then, like, if I'm being completely transparent, like the competitive nature, you know what I mean? Like, it's always, I think intrinsically we all have something we want to be great at or be good at. And, you know, realistically, you want to be a dog about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be a highly competitive person about that thing. You see it in multiple sectors and in our family and friends and different spaces they're in, you know what I'm saying? And coaching has been an outlet. It's one of the best things I love about what I do, but also there's also a flip side of that coin that's always feel like it's taking or pulling from me, you know what I mean? It requires so much mentally. The X's and O's, people get it twisted. I think you can agree, people get it twisted. The X's and O's of the game, that comes with knowledge, film, practices, you know, however you go about your planning. That's not the hard part of coaching. The hard part of coaching is the managing of personalities, the different styles of teaching, and then realistically in athletics, from youth sports all the way up, is recruiting. You know what I mean? Like you got to be a dog about recruiting. And if I'm being honest, like that's what kind of was harder and definitely about the collegiate game. I didn't know about college basketball until I left. I didn't know. My passion for coaching college basketball came from, find ourselves talking about High Point again, being on High Point campus. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think freshman year, I never watched a game. Sophomore year is when I started partying. And junior year, one or two guys from the team, I don't think it was the players. The players were always pretty cool dudes, but like, one or two guys from the team came and asked me, like, hey, we could use some help. Like, would you like to be around? And, you know, I loved basketball. Like, I know I loved basketball. So it's like, you know, okay, why not? And then, like, before I know it, I'm coming to practices. You know, I'm helping out with game preparation. I'm doing film. You know, I'm even doing the smaller things. And, like, I started to see the day in, day out of collegiate basketball. And I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, I love, like, I really developed a passion for it. You know what I'm saying? And
was your upbringing, like, I think a lot of how you are as a kid reflects on your upbringing from your parents. Whatever your upbringing is, it is, and that's, you can't really control that.
Okay.
Like, if you were raised going to the church every Sunday, you went to the church. Like,
That's
you
what you
weren't
know.
like, hey, mom, dad, I'm not going.
That's what
they
you
were
know.
like, no, you're coming.
Yeah.
So whatever, you know, was your upbringing around sports? Like,
Dude,
because mine was.
Yeah.
So I think whatever you're basically saying, my upbringing was not around sports.
It really wasn't, man.
So,
It
yeah,
really was. I mean, I played a little bit, but like it really wasn't that. It was my upbringing was around music. I went to a performing arts high school. Dr. Susan McKinney out near Fort Greene Projects. Did a lot of growing up there. Made some of the best friends I've ever known. Still good friends with them to this day. But even there's a strain on that relationship because they're in New York and I've been everywhere else. But that's what I knew. I knew music. Dabbled in basketball a little bit, you know what I mean? But that really was music was what I know. As far as my childhood, I watched my dad get up. I watched my father get up every day. 5, maybe 4:30 every day. Prepare to go to work. Leave, go to work. And then not come home every day until about 8 o'clock. And my dad works, or he retired now, but he worked as a supervisor for Metro Tech, which is like MTA Transit of all of New York City. So he was a supervisor, kind of like within the computer systems information building. Really, really good within tech services. And you got to remember, like the development of tech being integrated into the workplace, that was 80s, 90s. That's when he really got good at it. He did not finish. Well, he went to some colleges to gain credit, but he never finished the whole college program. So for him to attain that job and then work it for a majority of the time, like super impressive. I watched him do that and feed a family of 9. My whole high school, middle school life.
You're one of 9?
I'm one of 7.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. One of 7. And that was just in my crib. Like, and I watched him do that. And I watched him do that after enduring major loss and trauma. Like, I lost my mom when I was 4, bro. Like, I lost my mom when I was 4. His wife. When I was 4 years old, dude. He got remarried at, I think, 6, 7. When I was 6, 7. And then my brother and my mom came into the picture. Amazing. And then, like, they had kids together. They had 5 kids. So I watched him hustle, get up every morning to provide for this family in New York City during the 90s, 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where my grind and my work ethic kind of like started. Is just kind of watching him sacrifice everything he's ever known for himself to make sure other people were good. You know what I mean? Even if it was at the times at the detriment of himself. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just what he knew. So, to take that and relate it to athletics, like, and then give me an opportunity or a life to go to school and pick something that I want to do. I never forget, he made a joke about, yeah, man, don't get it twisted. Like, I could just send you to theological school, and you could join a seminary. I'm like, this man lost his damn mind. Like, I'm never doing that. You know what I mean? But like, that was him making a point of like, yo, like, I really tried to do everything I could to put myself in position for you guys to have an opportunity to do something that you want to do. Because I remember leaving, because I always felt some type of way about going away to school, bro. I wanted to go SUNY or CUNY. I wanted to go upstate college, New York, because I'd be close to my family and my friends. But they went to like kind of ship me off. I still have reservations about that. But like, I remember saying, okay, well, Dad, let me study something that's like that I think could really be beneficial. Like, let me study accounting. Let me study finance. He's like, nah, we didn't send you to school to do that, me and your mom. We sent you to school so you can fall in love with a passion and do something that you know you want to do. Was I smart or not smart to, like, love coaching? I could never tell you, but like, that's what it was. That's what resonates. Like, I used to tell a lady friend of mine, is like, like what sets a passion or a fire inside of you, bro? Like, follow that. My stepmom, she says that, don't follow the bread, follow that. Like, you can't lose if you follow that. You know what I mean? And then, like, I can't fake it, bro. Like, if it's something I'm not feeling, I'm not gonna fuck with it. Like, that's just who I am. So it's like, all that to say, when I take it back to like going to those first initial practices and working with our team and our players and getting to understand how much preparation went into competing at that level, understanding the resources that were being used behind closed doors, understanding the money that was coming in. Like, when I got to learn that space, in my mind, I was like, yo, like, this is a pond, this is a lake I could swim in, bro. Like, I could figure this out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of sharks in that lake. You know what I mean? But, that's where all that came from. You know what I mean?
I'm about to tell you, there's bigger lakes called oceans and bigger sharks.
I believe it.
And those are where you want to be swimming, because I had the realization that coaching's great. sport athletics, great.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way bigger realm of your abilities and gifts that could impact more people than you and I even know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to realize that. And maybe it's podcasting, maybe it's something way more than podcasting.
Yeah.
There is, I guess, like the whole adage of coaching is what you do. It's not who you are.
Mm.
You are a inspiring, motivated person
Mm-hmm.
that happens to coach basketball. Like, coaching is not the end all for you.
Yeah.
It's great for a while. Like Coach K did it his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
There's very, very, very few of those. Right? Like, there's not going to be another Coach K. There's a lot of coaches.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few of those that do it their whole life, have great success at a big program.
Mm-hmm.
That motivation, though, that drive can be used in other avenues of life outside of sport.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I encourage you to seek out while you're doing what you're doing. And part of it is because I'm doing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I realized, though, that volleyball was amazing. Coaching kids, amazing. There's more to life than sport.
Mm-hmm.
Sport is a distraction. The bar, alcohol, distraction. A lot of the people that we want to hang out with, distractions.
Mm.
And what are they distracting you from? Being whatever it is that you really can be.
Mm-hmm.
And it might take a while for you to figure it out if you keep getting distracted.
Mm-hmm.
The less distractions, the more focus on yourself, the more action taken, the more risk taken, the more failure brought upon yourself, the more you grow and the faster you grow. And then you realize, wow, I could do this. And you just start dismissing all those judgments from those people, those naysayers. Just keep going, man. Keep going. That's been the term I've been using. Keep going.
Yeah.
Because, it's not about the viewers or the likes, because we're, just doing it.
Pure passion, man.
Because this is, it's passion, and it's also, it's good for people to hear, normal people, not superstar athletes, doing a podcast. There's Brandon Martin. There's all these guys, pro football, pro basketball players doing a podcast talking about their experiences. There's very few of those in the world. There's very few professional athletes.
Percentages, yeah.
What's like the crazy stat of college athletes going to pros? So there's a commercial about it. Like
high school to college basketball. Speaking basketball, high school to college is 1% nationally, and then from college to pro is like under 1%. Yeah, it's like the numbers are crazy.
Those podcasts that you see on Instagram of the pro athletes talking about their experiences, you're like one person out of 100, if that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people who are doing cool things who can be doing way bigger things. You just gotta embrace that limelight and embrace the fact that you only get one shot at it, and you only hit your peak once. You got to build towards that prime, and I think we're both in that prime zone.
Yeah.
And once you leave your prime, whether it's athletics or life, it ain't coming back. So you need to figure it out before you hit the prime, and then go as hard as you can.
That's right.
Because your motivation decreases, your body decreases, everything shuts down.
Mm-hmm.
So extending your prime, extending your shelf life through healthy habits, through good sleep, through good nutrition, through great hydration. I know water is just such a key part of life, and it sounds so silly. Because it's like you don't see commercials like drink more water. What do you think about the topic that when you're recruiting top level high schoolers or 8th graders to play for your club or your team, as opposed to college players, when you're recruiting the younger guys, you're trying to get them to fall in love with the game still. And you're just being fun. Like you're being yourself. When you're recruiting older guys, you're not trying to get them to fall in love with the game or yourself. You're trying to get them to play just for your school and pick you. And it's not as fun. It's more business.
Yeah.
The fun aspect has sailed because it's a job. for you, and it's a job for that athlete.
Yeah.
When they go to college, the biggest thing of the progression from college to juniors after coaching volley is it's a full-time job for any sport at any school, small or big. The kids eat, sleep, and breathe that sport for 4 years. It's a full-time job. So it's not as fun for them. It can be fun. It's just more focused. And you got to like kind of persuade them that, hey, this is a good fit for you. It's not like, hey, come play for me. Like, I'm fun. And, you know, it's more just professional and more of a job for both parties.
That's right.
Whereas before, the kid was just having fun. It wasn't like a job.
That's right.
The commitment level, the hours put in was way less than the 4-year commitment or 2-year commitment at a community college when you're in a Division 1, 2, 3 athlete.
That's right. When I think about what drove, let's say, the culture of the programs, right? Intrinsically, like, it was fun to be on the floor with players and be in the film room with coaches and, you know, be on the sideline during games. Like, that stuff is fun. You know, competing, traveling, all that's great. You know what I mean? That's part of why you do it. What I didn't know prior to being in those spaces is how hard it is to be consistently good. You know what I mean? The hours you put in the process, like, that's not always fun. That's work. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's work.
Like, the season, the games are the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, competing when you're in the moment and an intense practice, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's effortless.
Mm-hmm.
It's the season's over. We got to recruit. That becomes work. Okay, the season's over. The recruiting's over. We have to convince these guys to buy in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have to convince these ladies, these guys to hit the weight room.
That's right.
To motivate them. And that cycle, you know, is what people don't see.
Yeah.
People see the games on TV.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see the practices. They don't see the recruiting. They don't see, you know, what you're doing to motivate the athlete.
Yes.
You know, Bobby has like this issue going on, and you have to make this decision to confront Bobby about this issue.
That's right.
To make him feel good. And then you have to do that a week later about Joe or Sally. And you have to have all these little conversations that take a lot of mental bravery and sensitivity. Mm-hmm. Because, like you said, personalities are the hardest part.
Managing the personalities, yeah.
And you don't see, as an outsider who doesn't coach, any of that. All you see is the game and the reaction of the coaches during the game. And that's the easy part. That's just fun. You're in the moment. Adrenaline kicks in. Those are the fun, you know, aspects of coaching. It's the recruiting. It does become hard because when you lose a kid, you're like, damn, that's a loss. And you start remembering the losses inevitably more than the wins. And it's hard to, you know, then balance working on yourself because you're trying to recruit all these kids, motivate all these kids at any level. And then what happened to your life and making sure you're sharp, because if you're sharp and you're working on yourself as much as you're working on the kids, which takes a lot of time and a lot of discipline, then you're your best coach. You need to be working on yourself equally or more than you're giving to the kids, whether it's working on your physique and fitness, your nutrition, your spiritual or, you know, mindfulness, then that kind of radiates to the athletes.
You're 100% right.
If you neglect yourself and you're feeling like crap, you're eating crap and you're not working out, you know, you could give a lot of work and effort, but you just forgot about your own life. And then after a while of forgetting about yourself, it starts to snowball in a negative manner.
Possibly so.
And then you're like, man, I just gave everything to other kids. And for me, I'm just speaking from experience. When I was working out, I was able to push my athletes better. I felt better. So I was able to get more out of them. And I think they sense that as well. So you need to lead by example.
I think you're on the money. You know, when I think about my strengths and weaknesses in coaching, what worked best for me versus what I struggled with, motivating players, pushing players. Like, I don't think I've ever I don't think I've ever. That's a lie. Obviously I struggled when I was younger in the beginning, but I don't think I've ever. Once I figured out, how to manage. I don't think I've ever had too much of an issue within those spaces, and the reason why is like you want to surround yourself with grinders. If you're getting the right players or families, they're already highly invested, so they want to do whatever it takes to become better or get to the next step or get 1% better every single day. So it just like with anything else, you learn, especially now that I'm a bit older, you learn that you have to pour your energy into those spaces. Like even now, like from the youth organizations I've seen and worked for to others, like I spent a lot of time. I'm not gonna say in retrospect it was BSing, but I spent a lot of time giving to organizations and players and families who were in it for fleeting or short moments. Hey, take care of this family. Hey, make sure this player gets this workout. Hey, can we put this kid on your team for, whatever season? And these people, they weren't 100% invested like I was, but yet I'm giving my time and making sure little whoever has a spot on our squad and stuff like that. So like as I've gotten older, like I learned like the game is a lot more about like managing where you're putting your energy. You can't put it multiple places. And to go back to what you said, you're 100% right. You have to take care of yourself in order to be sharp in your discernment, be sharp in how you're managing, your basketball culture or people, and then also like to once again live a life that leads by example. If I'm being honest with myself, I'm always relatively active. Like I'm doing something. Like I'm in the mix. I'm lifting. I'm hooping. Like I'm always doing something to kind of stay active. Could I be better disciplined about possibly lifting or, chiseling up? Definitely probably about diet. Like these are things I know for a fact. But I live my day to day, my week to week, my month to month where I'm aware of those things. So like my food and my exercise personally aren't the worst things. What gets me, Sky, to be myself, just revealing, like pulling back the curtain, what gets me, my sleep isn't great. My sleep is not great. And then the other thing too is like my my mind at times. I'm not a very overly anxious person, but my mind at times can focus on too much of the past or too much of the future. You know what I'm saying? Or better yet, not even, you're always thinking ahead, but too much of the past and too much kicking yourself for mistakes. That's, if I'm being honest with myself, those are my weaknesses. Food, exercise, I can figure that out. I've been doing it forever. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing this since we know each other. Like I can figure that out. But what'll get me and what permeates possibly positively or negatively to the circle around me, personal, basketball culture, my job, I would say more so like lack of sleep and then sometimes like that mind running away on you. That's what gets me.
I just got so much going in my head when we're talking about this topic. This is good because you talked about energy management, and remember Nito Kubain?
Oh man.
Shout out to Nito. High Point.
Oh,
it was fun. Nito Kubain was a great leader. He's the president of our university and an absolute go-getter and self-starter. And he talked about energy management as opposed to time management. Now, time management, you can't control time.
Mm-mm.
How we have our system is how we have our system. You could control your energy. Like you're flying out here. You could control, not you, but whoever's flying cross country. You could like really try to relax and sleep and like rest up. Or if you're taking a bus to a game, like don't get all jacked up on the bus. Like wait for the game to get pumped up. And just there's so many ways that resonated with me for the last 15 years. Energy management, like finding ways like, hey, maybe there's some people that you're around that day that you don't want to give that much energy to because people later in that day are you're going to want to be 100% there. And I think that's just a good tip for the listeners and the viewers, energy management. And that was from Nito Kubain. Back to you, Keith. Do you think that your lack of sleep could be better if your nutrition and your focus on you and your lifestyle choices, whether it's nutrition, fitness, working out, or drinking, Like, do you think those reflect your sleep? And there's a great quote from that I read in Tool of Titans from Tim Ferriss. Lao Tzu. Depression is in the past. Anxiety is in the future. Peace of mind is in the present.
I like that one.
And that one really hit home with me because I'm thinking about things that we're really critical. We're good coaches. We're critical.
With the space. Yeah, it comes with the space.
We're critical of ourselves and letting go of criticism, self-criticism of the past, letting go of what you need to do a week from tomorrow and being 100% present or as close to it as possible. I know in the Save the Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix, the one guy praised MJ for always being present. He was like, no matter what, he was present. In his press conferences, he'd be like, that's tomorrow. And I think what parlays with being present is action. When you're thinking about what to do tomorrow, what could you do right then and there or the next 30 minutes or the next hour to take your mind off that and better yourself right then and there?
Yeah.
And then inevitably you'll set up some green lights for whatever that event or get together is tomorrow. Do you think, long story short, do you think like if you're not thinking as much and doing more and like really busting your ass with your physique, fitness, managing your social surroundings, to your best of your ability, obviously you're going to flow, and then dialing your nutrition, does that help your sleep?
Oh, it totally correlates. All of it comes together.
You're here with Mr. Keith Buxton. Keith coming out from Virginia. Yes, originally sir. From Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, sir.
Big Nets fan, Knicks fan.
Oh, man.
Whoever's in first place fan. You rocked the Lakers hat on the way out here.
Dude, yeah. So, I
think basketball fan.
It's actually kind of funny, man. Even going back to school, but that's the first time I noticed it. But going back when we first went to school, like, you realize people wear, like, hats and gear from the teams they actually love. Whereas in New York, it's a fashion thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's swagger. If a Yankee fitted go with your Timbs and your Air Force Ones, then that's what you're wearing. If a Kobe jersey, Kobe throwback during the summer, you know what I mean, goes with a bucket hat because you trying to rock, like, you trying to be early 2000s or 90s, you know what I mean, just that swagger. But people, when you leave town, when you leave the city and you go places, people are like, oh, you're a Phillies fan? I'm like, nah, dude, it matches my gear. But
been asking this to just about every guest. The key to life. And I've been saying my answer over and over again.
I was about to say, well, I want to hear what yours is.
For me, it's just being present, right? So starting each day on the right foot. And it's, we have this amazing technology that when it works for us, it's great. And for me, I am not a fan of waking up to an alarm. I got a good mental clock. I want to wake up to this beautiful sun that we all revolve around. I do not want to wake up to this phone, to any alarm telling me to get up. I want to get up on my own terms. And then I want to make the bed. And when I get up on my own terms and I make my bed and my room's clean, the day tends to be really good. Because why don't I make the bed? I'm hungover. I'm lazy. I'm late. So for me, just getting off to a good start. And it's as simple as getting up to the sun and making the bed.
I like it. Key to life. As I hear what you say, and I think about me and my journey and people around me who I admire or I love, like, in their journeys, I would boil it down to, I'd say, 2 terms, and then this is kind of like a fill in the blank for people. I would call it intrinsic blank, right? Now, hear me out. What I'm saying is, like, whatever trait that is that you want to permeate into every facet of your life, or to the people you come in contact with, or to how you do business, or to how you negotiate a contract, how you go about your exercise, how you go about your nutrition, how you go about, your hobbies, how you go about dealing with your family. Intrinsic blank. Now, I'll give an example. Like, for me, I'd say at this moment in time, specifically, I'll say intrinsic joy, right? Not the fleeting joy, not the joy you get from, getting a PS5, booking a new flight, or, getting shit for your birthday. My birthday just passed. Not that fleeting, passive, in the moment joy, but that intrinsic, hard to maintain, work at it every day, joy, right? And I say I want, like, I want to continue to have that because I want that to permeate into those around me. You know what I'm saying? My work life, my personal life, my professional connection with, you know, coaches, players, organizations. Like when people come up with me and I could, you know, connect with them and we do business, but I'm making them laugh. I'm giving them a chance to understand perspective. You know what I mean? Like I'm not coming off like too reserved or closed off or like standoffish. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I think that can carry, that can resonate or ripple across so many different like other facets of life. So I would say that, you know, it's probably not the most common answer or more popular answer, but intrinsic blank. So whatever that trait is for our listeners, our people who are invested, intrinsic blank, whatever that is, that's the key to life.
What's the key to your life?
That's what I would go
We'll
with.
fill it in.
My life?
Is it joy for like
Well,
your
I was
life?
going to say initially like adapting, so evolution. So like that's why I picked the intrinsic blank. I can change that at any time. Life is not finite. It's not black and white. Things are going to change. You're going to go through loss, tragedy, love. All these things are going to happen, bro, and you're going to need different things. You have to be able to pull it from self. I can't call Skylar and like if I want to feel good about something, I can't just call you all the time. You know what I mean? I will call it that inner peace of mind. Key to life.
Being at peace.
Key to life, bro. Because if you have inner peace of mind, your discernment is on point. Your ability to connect is on point. Your ability to know when to do those things and when not to do those things is on point. Inner peace of mind. I'll call it that. Key to life.
Listeners, viewers, give a subscribe on the YouTube channel and a follow on Instagram with my man Keith Buxton from Brooklyn, living in
Yes, sir.
Va Beach, Virginia.
Yes, sir.
All right, Keith, great work.